Well, some late afternoon showers. Rockies fans in the house. Gotta love it. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, everybody. And the late afternoon showers have cleared out. Batting practice was held inside for both squads. Rockies are 3-1 on this road trip. They've won the first two here in Atlanta, Georgia. And for the third time this year, they're 10 games above 500. They're trying to get to 11 naturally. They're going to face a hard-throwing right-hander. In fact, one of the hardest throwers in baseball, Mike Foltynewicz, the Illinois native. And Charlie Blackmon will step in. Charlie, as we talked about a few minutes back, kind of a breakout game yesterday with 3 hits and 6 at-bats. First pitch is in there on the inside corner at 97, and that's about where he lives, right around 97.
I remember a couple years ago, the Rockies faced Foltynewicz in Colorado, and several of the players said this was the best arm they saw all year.
That's 98, but it's outside 1-1. He's enjoying his best season as a big leaguer. He's had a career ERA above 4. This year it's at 286. And that misses inside. 2 balls and a strike. So here's his arsenal, featuring that large fastball. Second hardest throwing starter in the National League to Noah Syndergaard.
But the secondary pitches, all the changeup, the curveball, the slider, hitters are hitting combined 150 against those pitches.
And this is bounce foul. You know, earlier today, Charlie, really the last couple of days, spent a lot of time on the machine, which hitters will do once in a while so they can see big-time velocity, especially velocity that'll stay on plane. 2-2, and he got him with a slider in the dirt. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup tonight, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. DJ LeMahieu's 11 for 15. Does that ever get your attention against Mike Foltynewicz? Then it's Cargo. He has a home run against Foltynewicz. Arenado, Story, David Dahl back in there. Ian Desmond, who had a big night yesterday with 5 ribbies. He'll bat 7. Tony Walters doing the catching in front of Antonio Senzatella. Well, stay hot against Foltynewicz. You rarely see numbers like that.
No.
It's like T-ball numbers. Ball and a strike. And that's lined to short. Hit it hard. 2 outs. That'll bring up Cargo. Here is, now it's Dansby Swanson at shortstop. He plays every day. Albies joins him up the middle. The outfield, Inciarte's back in there in center field. Kurt Suzuki, who caught on Thursday night. Tyler Flowers last night. Kurt's back in there. He does the majority of the catching for the Braves. Two gone as Cargo steps up. The Rockies with 11 runs on 16 hits yesterday, but they did have a 1-2-3 first. And a curveball for a strike. One of the reasons the Rockies had a banner day, the first 2 guys in the order, Charlie 3 for 6, DJ 3 for 6. We're talking about hitting off the machine. That'll help a little bit with timing once you get the timing of the machine down, but you're going to see raw speed off the hitting machine, and that's the only way you can close to replicate the velocity you'll see in the game. It's not like you have a coach sitting there from 45 feet who's going to throw it that hard.
When you're facing velocity, especially off a pitching machine, it really forces the mechanics to be on time. Because anybody can hit off a pitching machine when it's throwing 96, but your fouling pitch is off. It's trying to get the natural rhythm of your swing, which is extremely important. That's why I love it when guys do it, but you don't want to get in the habit of doing it too often.
Hard to get that timing mechanism of when to start going back off a machine. That's way outside. Foltynewicz, formerly a #1 pick of the Houston Astros back in 2010. Here's the 3-2. And that's a dirty slider. That's a great pitch at 90. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 first for Foltynewicz. It'll be Antonio Senzatella's turn when we come back. Start, since he threw the ball very well August 2nd in St. Louis. Billy's got more.
Well, I always think when you see Antonio Senzatella, it comes down to his fastball command. Here's the different pitches he has. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He uses it primarily. The slider has gotten so much better, 83 miles an hour. The changeup is still a work in progress. So is the curveball. For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Senza, please be right. Atlanta Braves are 50-33 versus right-handed pitchers this season. First 3 starts against lefties, which the Braves have several lefties in the lineup. 259. The last 2 starts, he is fantastic. 215 batting average. Comes down to that fastball.
Here's the 20-year-old phenom, Ronald Acuna Jr. And Acuna batting leadoff and doing a really good job for the Braves in that department. Earlier, he was hitting in a different spot in the lineup, a little further down. He's taken to that top spot. Of course, before the Rockies got to town, he had a stretch of 6 home runs over 6 ball games. And that is ripped to left, a base hit. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Atlanta. Pretty much the same in the first 5. It is once again Ozzie Albies batting second. Freddie Freeman, MVP candidate, batting third. Markakis has had an extraordinary year. He'll bat fourth. Johan Camargo fifth. Ender Inciarte steps in center field in the 6th spot. Then Suzuki, Dansby, Swanson, who had a single and a double last night. He'll bat 8th.
That kid on first base, Acuna, is pretty fun to watch. I know there's thousands and thousands of Acuna jerseys already sold just probably today. You walk around SunTrust Park, you'll see a bunch of them. He's really brought a different kind of energy to the field for this team, and it's contagious. You can see it.
He gets roars from the crowd when he's introduced, and I think it's been elevated the last couple of days since he was plunked in that Miami series. Braves fans have always appreciated their top flight baseball players, and they have had a bunch. Acuna not going outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Albies. Albies has 3 hits and 9 at bats in the series. All 3 of his hits are of the infield variety. 1 was by design. That was a bunt single yesterday. Senza in that ball game in St. Louis gave up just 1 run and 5 hits in 6 innings. Walked a couple, struck out 5. Rockies led when he departed 2-1. He ended up getting a no decision though.
It's a big lead for Acuna.
Colorado would lose 3-2. Well, if he takes off, Senza's just got to give an opportunity to Tony. A fair opportunity to try to cut him down. Now how quick Tony's hands and feet work in his transition to throwing guys out at second.
This is where a slide step is great for Senzatella. That's the best he has.
Well, that's a base hit. Acuna will move up 90 feet. 2 sharp singles against Senzatella. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. David Dahl made a wonderful running catch last night, and I don't know how many left fielders make. It was close to the line, and he made it look pretty easy. The infield remains the same behind the plate. We were just discussing Tony Walters is back there for the 2nd time in this series. Tony's really been in a situation where he's caught about 1 out of 5 or 6. So to go twice in a 3-day period is going to help him on both sides of the ball.
Sure. And it also depended on Tom Murphy getting sent down to the minor leagues. That's helped him with that opportunity. The Rockies are in trouble. Acuna, Albies, first 2 guys on. Now you have an MVP candidate with the next 2 guys. And Freddie Freeman, many people making an argument for Nick Markakis.
Yeah, hopefully you can get a ground ball here. That's outside.
It's a great crowd at SunTrust tonight because they are giving away Chipper Jones bobbleheads. Not to mention there's a post-game concert of Jason Isabel. Doug Moreno said we should watch it. I'm going to.
That's 2-0. You mentioned it. The 2 secondary pitches for Senzatella that he'll feature the most, slider, changeup, are still works in progress. And we've seen outings where they've been really good, particularly the slider. It's better than it was a year ago. But he's behind 2-0. And that's line to DJ. They'll get a double play. Boy, that worked out nicely. They didn't get the ground ball, but they got the line out, and DJ fired to Story. 2 gone, and that'll keep Albies at first base.
As exciting as Acuna is, he still has some baseball 101 he needs to learn. You have to freeze on a line drive. Make a better read because that's an opportunity. There's plenty of time to get back.
But you know what? I know you say he still has things to learn, and some people may, tomorrow it may be written up as a rookie mistake. Stop. And I'm not trying to pick on the kid. The kid's a great young talent. You've been playing baseball for a long time before you get to the big leagues. You know you have to freeze on a line drive. You have to know where infielders are positioned. Just because he hit it hard doesn't mean you can run wildly. So I hate when we say, oh, a rookie mistake. When you're 9, that's a rookie mistake.
Well, we saw something last night, too. We saw him try to make a throw from center field. That was an errant throw, trying to throw Charlie Blackmon out at home plate, and it allowed DJ to move up to second. Those plays matter, especially for a playoff caliber team like the Braves. If you're going to play high-quality teams, the Rockies are a high-quality team, they'll expose you. Those type of plays throughout the course of the season, even though there are times if you're better, if your talent is better, you'll beat that team. Not in a close playoff series, not in an important game against a really good team. They will come back to bite you.
2-0. That's a fastball at 94 for a strike on Markakis. Markakis 1 for 7 in the series. quietly plays day in and day out and has for years. And a good pitch. DJ sets his feet. No harm done despite 3 line drives allowed by Senzatella. 2 quick hits, but he got the line drive double play. Nolan will lead it off as we turn the page to inning number 2. Is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. With Ryan Spillboards, Jenny Kavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. We are at SunTrust Park in Cobb County, just northwest of downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Nolan Arenado in the second inning steps up against Mike Fultonevich, and the hard-throwing right-hander out of Illinois has strike 1. Nolan 1 for 12. Against Fultonevich, who has never beaten the Rockies. Fultonevich in his career against Colorado is 0-4 with a 5.14 ERA. And his team has never, when he's been on the mound, beaten the Rockies. No. 0-7.
Let's keep it that way.
Slider 1-2. Fultonevich was drafted by the Astros, as I mentioned, right out of high school. And if you're wondering how he became a Brave prior to the 2015 season, he came from Houston in the deal for Evan Gattis. That is smoked up the middle, base hit.
I want to point something out about Fultonevich. A year ago, this guy was getting hit by lefties well over 300. And this year, lefties are hitting about 189 against him. And it all comes down to pitch sequencing. Whenever you think about pitch sequences, think about how a fastball can play. So for his approach against lefties, he's using his fastball more than he did a year ago. But he's also trusting that his slider, he can throw down and in to those lefties. For the right-handers, it's primarily slider and then to the fastball to let that fastball play up.
Story fouls it off. Well, he had to go to work in the offseason because the 26-year-old last year, not only was he aware of how lefties did against him, Spilly, but his final 7 starts last year, he lost them all and he had a 7.91 ERA. That's not how you want to go into the offseason. This is popped up into shallow right. Coming hard is Markakis, and he'll make the catch. Story retired, and that'll bring up David Dahl.
Well, here's his year-by-year and ERA, 5.71 in 2015, and then you see a slow drop down. This year it's been fantastic, 2.86. But what's interesting too, Drew, see the strikeout rate has gone up. His pitches per inning have stayed about the same, around 17 and a half pitches per inning year by year. This year he's seen a big benefit of what we call batting average ball in play. It's down below league average, below 300. And that comes in part to that secondary commanding it.
David Dahl last night was one of the few Rockies who did not produce a hit. He was 0 for 5, but he had a line out, and his last at bat, he came within a hair of hitting a 3-run homer. The ball to the wall and right, just got underneath a breaking ball a tiny bit. 1-1 on David. He's hitting .315 against righties this season. Swung on and missed. Two pretty good players hanging out at first base right now. One on defense, one after singling. Two MVP candidates, Freddie Freeman, Nolan Arenado. And if you look at Fangraphs WAR, wins above replacement, they're basically, there's a dead heat. Freddie Freeman, Nolan Arenado, Matt Carpenter. A little bit of a drop off till you get to Paul Goldschmidt. Baseball Reference, Fangraphs, everybody compiles a little bit WAR a little bit differently. But suffice it to say, you know, those three guys, at least right now, are going to be prominently in the discussion for MVP.
The amazing part about Matt Carpenter is that Carpenter's defense is a negative. So for that number to be up where it is, you can tell he's done some damage offensively. And then on the other side, when you see Lorenzo Cain's name in there, offensively his numbers aren't, you know, it's not 330 with 30 and 100. It's
and you know
280 with 8 and 40.
And he's a really good player. Lorenzo Cain's a really good player, a terrific center fielder. Here's the 3-2 on Dahl, and that ball's lifted foul. But for me, Spilly, and I go back, and this is not to pick on Jason Hayward, it's just the most convenient example, and he got a ton of money, and good for Jason. And we know what kind of leadership he provided the Cubs when they won it all a couple of years ago. But everybody pointed to what a wonderful outfielder he was, and you know, his DRS and his UZR, ultimate zone rating. One of the things I looked up, that's fouled off. The year before he signed the big deal with the Cubs, with the Cardinals, he had 1.7 chances a game. So let's call it 13, 14 chances over the course of the week. What is he going over the wall 7 times that week, pulling down 3-run home runs? I would assume 11 of the balls are pretty routine. Strike 3 on Dahl. That's the second out. So I think sometimes with outfielders, not that defense isn't important, it's of a profound importance, but we can overrate it a little bit.
Well, I know at DRS, they try to average it out. So the outfielders are averaged out with the infielders. So that's how you're able to get some of those numbers. And now his career strikeout number 500 for Fultonevich, catching David Dahl looking. You know, a little ovation here at SunTrust.
Desi drives this ball with authority, deep left field, and it is caught out there by Acuna, who is playing very deep. He gave it a ride. Nolan had a base hit. He's left on board. No score, middle of 2 in Atlanta.
coming off the disabled list. That means Chad Bettis, the odd man out of the rotation, he'll be coming out of the bullpen for the foreseeable future. I got the chance this past week to sit down with Chad on August 14th, this last Tuesday. It marked his one-year return to baseball, cancer-free, where he happened to face the Braves, and it's been quite a whirlwind, 365 days.
It's been crazy, you know, it's been filled with excitement, you know, and I think, you know, reflecting back at now what's been a year from August 14th last year to today, it's just been, there's been a lot of ups and downs, you know, but I think, you know, it's just great to be here, you know, and I think to be part of this team, be part of this pitching staff, and it's been a fun ride.
I know too, for Chad, seeing the Braves uniform, it'll always have significant meaning for him. That's because his very first career start in the big leagues happened against the Braves. Then, of course, his return from cancer on August 14th, also against the Braves. We'll see if he gets in this series, you guys. I think too, for Chad, it really just shows the character of who he is, that conversation that Bud Black had to have with him. As Bud always says, we need every single guy. They're going to need Chad at some point, and he'll be used as long relief for the foreseeable future again out of that pen.
Well, we know how strong he is, and we know how tough he is. This is a pop-up to shallow left, and coming on is David Dahl. But he's coming off, Jenny, a great performance. So, you know, not an easy conversation for Buddy, but this is a team guy. And I know sometimes, Billy, that term is thrown around, and you're not going to mention names, but I'm sure you played with some guys over the years that there was a little more me than TEAM.
It's hard, though, because this game is a business, and your results are also attributed to what role you have in this business. And so there's aspects to, yes, you're doing what's best for the team, but there's other aspects here. You can't just act like it's a team sport and that's it, because it's not. There's a professional industry that there's a lot of connotations on what your performance on the field means to you and your family.
Yeah, that's so well put, because, you know, whether it's arbitration or whether you hit the free agent market, they're going to look and say, well, you know, you only threw 108 innings. How are you selling yourself as a 200-inning starting pitcher? Get it. But right now, his best use for the Rockies in this situation is to be that sixth man, so to speak.
And that's where you have to have the guys surrounding him that makes you feel like you want to be part of the group. You want to be part of a team in an organization that it's all about winning. Because if it was on a different team, on a team that maybe wasn't winning, maybe wasn't in the place that the Rockies are at, it becomes a little bit of a selfish nature.
But this also plays out on the positive side.
Sure.
You know, when you have the reputation of being a team guy, even if you don't have the numbers that you would like from, you know, all the monetary standpoint, there are guys that stick around beyond maybe what their shelf life would have been, because they have the reputation of being good teammate, good clubhouse guy.
No question. No question.
2 outs, and that's a fastball stuck right at the bottom of the zone. 0-1 on Kurt Suzuki. Got to be careful with this guy. He's, you know, like a lot of backstops. Doesn't hit for a high average, but is pretty stout. And if he runs into one, as we saw on Thursday, he'll hit it pretty far. You know, Chris Iannetta falls into that category.
Just a quality at bat. Good backstop. Call a good game. Run into your fair share of homers.
And Spilly, I mean, you're kind of the antithesis of what we were describing. Had you been a better team guy, maybe you'd still be playing. We'd still be talking about you. You weren't such a self-centered bleep, 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 bleep.
You know, one of the things that you always tell people in college or professional when you get the opportunity is, have you ever seen a person get paid on a bad team? No. You get paid in this game, you stay in this game for a long time if you're on a winning team. That's the only way it happens.
Well, Chad's moving like the rest of the fans are moving right now, because it just started to pour. 1-2. That's off the plate. And I'll be honest that the weather report we saw showed that we could be dealing with intermittent showers. We had that late this afternoon. It was beautiful the first part of the day.
It's also a good time to get a refill.
True. Got away with one. That slider kind of rolled up there. It wasn't sharp.
Well, that slider we saw Senzatella have was his last start prior to going on the disabled list in St. Louis. And a nice sharp slider. And we've talked about Senzatella for years about he's not a high strikeout pitcher. He pitches in contact, induces a lot of weak contact, induces a lot of fly balls, pop-ups. Never a big strikeout. 9 was the season high for him. It was 4.
That ball's line. Trevor Story's there. And that's a 1-2-3 second inning. So we'll go to the third. Rockies scoreless with the Braves. T-Mobile. Well, check this out. The Rockies, and you understand a lot of teams struggled with the Atlanta Braves. They were loaded with pitching between 2003 and 2014. The Rockies' record in Georgia was 8-31. Last few years, the Rockies are 8-3. And they've won the last 3 series, trying to make it 4 straight. And they can do that with a win tonight. They won on Thursday night by a score of 5-3, and they won last night 11-5. 8-9-1 for the Rockies in the third. Here's their catcher, Tony Walters. Voltanevich on the outside corner, perhaps a smidgen off, but he gets the strike call. Joe West is calling balls and strikes. Rookie umpire. Doug Eddings at first, Pat Hoberg at second, Brian Knight at third. That may have been more of a strike, but it was a reach back by Kurt Suzuki as Voltanevich missed location. That's a good spot, but deemed a little bit low. So Tony's eye pays off there. It's 2-1. And that's a base hit to center field.
It's nice, Tony.
That's really nice.
Tony line drive.
Spilly, you know from playing sometimes not all the time, this does help out when you get to put some at-bats at this level together over a short period of time, right?
Think about the hits that Tony had. He had a great one in Houston on a hit and run 3-2 count, big double. Saw 3 straight fastballs down, dropped the barrel on it. It's impressive, too, because Mike Foltynewicz in 2018 has been keeping leadoff hitters to a 172 batting average. He's not going to like not getting that last called strike.
Senza's got 3 bunts down this year. One and one. Club leader in sack bunts, John Gray. John's got 6 sack bunts. Tyler Anderson has 5. And then Antonio. Two and one. Foltynewicz got off to the great start. Then he hit kind of a hiccup for a period of time in the middle of the summer. Last 3 he's been great. 3-0, 1.83 ERA. The Rockies keep the bunt on. 3-2. Well, you appreciate this from Senza. You wish he had gotten the bunt down already, but he does know the strike zone. And swinging away, lines it to pretty deep center field, but Inciarte gets back. That wasn't a bad slug bunt. He almost hit that over Inciarte's head. Well, we were talking about Mike Foltynewicz. You know, great start, actually 16 starts. Takes you in the All-Star game, maybe slightly beyond, right around there. And he had a 2.02 ERA. Great. Next 4, struggled. Last 3, outstanding. Here's Charlie. He struck out on a slider his first time up, and that's fouled off. Two fastballs, 2 foul balls, 0-2. Folks, when the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did last night, they broke that drought, 24 straight games. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. That's a balk. Charlie saw it before anybody, and then Joe West waved his hand. He said, balk. Joe called one last night on Sean Newcomb.
See what he did. There's a little.
He started
and stop. Well, he told the story about Joe West, and I'll repeat it again. He's second all-time as an umpire in games called. And when he was in Minnesota about a week ago, he went to a steakhouse called Manny's Steakhouse in Minnesota with 2 former Minnesota Vikings. And when he sat down, the menu they brought to him was in Braille.
That's awesome. All heaters from Foltynewicz. Charlie trying to give the Rockies the lead here in the 3rd. Charlie drives this ball to center field, but it's at Enciarte. He got on top of that. That's a good swing. That's a good swing. Bad result. 2 gone. You may be wondering who's #1 all time. He just passed Bruce Fleming to Joe West. You have to go back to the first part of the 20th century. Bill Clem. I'm pretty sure it's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
It's got to be.
Bill Clem went forever as an umpire.
I think today is his 5,170th game.
And Clem is in the Hall of Fame. We have confirmed that. DJ LeMahieu at the plate. DJ lined to short his first time, and that's a major league slip. So Tony to third on the wild pitch.
Looks like he spun out on the wet. He just fell into a wrong toe hold.
Kurt coming out saying, hey, dude, whatever it was, toe hold, ball slippage, whatever it was, don't do it again. All right? Pat you on the derriere. I'm going back behind the plate.
Yep.
Whatever that was, remove that from your arsenal.
Yeah, don't do that again.
DJ, if you missed his first at bat, we showed you he's 11 for now 16 against Foltynewicz in his career. That's the beautiful thing, one of the many beautiful things about baseball. I mean, DJ's a batting champ. You know he's a really good hitter. Foltynewicz has great stuff. You go, this guy owns him. Foltynewicz knows it, and he's now behind 3-0. You have Cargo on deck.
Okay, I went down the rabbit hole a little bit since we were talking about Joe West and how many games he's umpired. 5,170, about there. Pete Rose leads all time with the most amount of games played, 3,562.
So say that again.
Pete Rose,
3,562
games. Pete Rose in his
and
career.
Joe has umpired
5,170 games.
So 1,600 more roughly.
Yes.
Isn't that something?
That's something.
It's like 10 years of baseball Pete didn't play.
That's right.
Three-two. Out. I thought that may be the call. Joe West saying that the ball contacted DJ and he was out of the batter's box. If it contacts you, as long as you have a toe in the batter's box, you're okay.
See, there's a backdoor two-seam fastball. It kicks out in front. DJ's knee
You know
hits
what?
it. Looks like he's in the box.
Looks like he's still in the box. I don't believe that's reviewable. That's a bad break. Pat Hoberg, second base umpire, DJ, asking him about what happened, and I think Joe West missed that one. And usually when you see ball hit a batter, it's almost always they just call it a foul ball. As long as you have a foot still in the batter's box, you're okay. This is through the left side, a base hit for Dansby Swanson. And there's no question when the ball comes up and hits DJ, his right foot is still in the box. Watch, watch. Or actually, it's his left foot. There's the contact. Left foot still in the box.
I'm going through the rule book right now.
And it's not reviewable,
nope,
so.
Not reviewable.
Fultonevich offered at it. 0-1. And again, that's so tough for a home plate umpire to simultaneously see, you know, ball contact, hitter, where's the hitter? And so unless, you know, it's very, very clear he exited the box, you would think the call would go the other way. Unfortunately, it did not. They have a little play going on here with Desmond crashing on the bunt attempt. DJ snuck in, and he had a snap throw from Tony Walters.
Oh, I love these back pick plays, especially crashing at bunts. And when you have a guy like Tony Walters, quick release, it's good to take a chance like that. And that'll also shorten up the lead for Dansby Swanson. You'll have a better shot for Nolan to throw him out at second. Only went slug bunt.
You still have a chance here to turn it over. There's one, and no return throw. Good job by Desmond. You know, he doesn't get enough credit for his feeds on 3-6 plays.
Yeah, he's been very, very good about his throws to second base. This is a tough one because it's a backhand. You're expecting bunt, a little in between, reset your feet on a wet grass. It was a good, strong throw right on the money.
So Fultonevich is now at first base, and Ronald Acuna is at the plate. Sharp singles left in the bottom of the first inning. Sense is one of those guys that he'll work 92, 93, and then he'll reach back and give you something 96, 97. Last year we saw him touch 98 in some games. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I think the guy who has the easiest velocity in the Rockies rotation would be Marquez. Would you agree with that?
No, yeah, no question.
What was that? That was weird looking. Foul ball, 1-2. John Gray's got a big arm. We know that. You got a couple sneaky guys who's both Tyler Anderson and Kyle Freeland, when they want to, they'll go and get mid-90s. There's 95, foul back. Acuna, like so many young power hitters, pulls the baseball quite a bit. mentioning German Marquez. German Marquez and Antonio Senzatella, as Forrest Gump would say, since we're in the South. They're like two peas in a pod. You rarely, and I mean rarely, if you see one, you see both of them. You don't see one without the other much.
You love the relationships and friendships you forge over time, from the minor leagues through getting drafted. And those bonds, I mean, when you hear of a team growing like a group of brothers, and you'll have, I mean, it's true. These guys spend so much time with each other, from catch partners to everything.
Inside, 3-2.
Then you become inseparable.
Mike Foltynewicz wasn't sure what's going to happen here. 3-2. So EY went over and literally put two arms around his shoulders and told him, either you're running or you're not running. We'll find out. Not going, and this is going to land behind the netting, out of play. Missed, and now they're 2 on. First walk allowed by Senzatella. 1 out. Foltynewicz to second. That'll bring up Ozzie Albies. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, comments, questions, photos. Use Twitter. Include the hashtag ToyotaTalk. Slider, foul tip, strike 1.
Okay, I finally got the rule for DJ. It's rule 509-7 and the umpire rule book. And here's what it states. If his fair ball touches him before touching a fielder, if the batter is in a legal position in the batter's box. See Rule 5.04 for where a legal batter is in, both feet in the box. And in the umpire's judgment, there is no intention to interfere with the course of the ball. A batted ball that strikes the batter or his bat shall be ruled a foul ball.
So after all of the whatever language you used there, and he should have been a foul ball.
Should have been a foul ball.
Ball cuts inside, 1-2 on Albies. Albies a line single to right in the first inning. First 2 batters against Senzatella had line singles. Acuna to left, Albies to right, and Freddie Freeman hit a line shot right at DJ LeMahieu, who caught it and then flipped a Story, and they doubled off Acuna Jr. And this is slowly hit. 1 play for DJ. He's got to flip it to first. 2 outs. Crowd a buzz because Freddie Freeman's coming up with 2 gone. He is having a great year again. 355 with runners in scoring position. 4 points ahead of Gerardo. Down low. Parr not in the starting lineup tonight. That in enough. Deuce a foul ball, 1 strike. A little bit low, a little bit outside, 2-1.
That's a good pitch.
That's a real good pitch. Not called a strike, though.
Try to tie up Freddie Freeman, 6'5" frame. Likes to get the ball extended so he can hit the ball. He's very good hitting opposite field. A little cut to that. With first base open, you have that. And a little bit of margin for error with Freddie Freeman, where you do not have to groove him a pitch he can handle. You can still pitch on the edges. Still throw an off-speed pitch if you'd like to. I think Tony Walters is going to remind him that. You don't have to be perfect.
There was a couple years early on in Freddie's career where the Rockies couldn't get him out. In fact, in 2011, Spilly, he had 6 home runs and batted .438 against Colorado.
Yeah, I remember that.
2 years later, he had a couple more home runs. He batted .393. But the last 4, actually the last 5 years, the Rockies have had his number. He's hit below 200 against Colorado pitching. Jinx it here. 3-1. Ground ball foul.
That was a changeup for Senzatella, which is, again, when we talk about a pitch in progress, being willing to throw a 3-1 changeup, and that was right at the bottom of the zone with a little movement.
Wouldn't have happened last year.
It wouldn't have happened last year.
Second and third, no score, 2 outs in the third. Foltynewicz at third. Acuna Jr. is at second.
And going back to that changeup, he really throws it less than 5% of the time. 10% of the time to lefties, but less than 2.5% of the time to righties. So it is a developing pitch. Went to it again, missed the bottom of the strike zone. Can live with that.
So that will load the bases for Markakis, who grounded to second to end the threat in the first inning.
Fans buy a Rockies ticket package to guarantee a chance at 2018 postseason tickets. Plans start at just 10 games.
And if you're wondering, I was talking to Steve Foster earlier. Even though he missed a start, Senzatella has the full allotment of pitches to utilize tonight. In other words, not on any kind of pitch count just because he missed one start. Pitch count elevated naturally here in the third with the traffic.
The Braves lead Major League Baseball with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And Markakis is at the top, 298 batting average. This is the biggest pitch of this sequence for Senzatella. You try to get that strike to even up the count. You don't want to fall behind 2-0 with the bases loaded.
He's been in the big leagues since 2006. And that's close, 2-0.
You have to trust your fastball. That's your best pitch if you're Antonio Senzatella.
But he looks a little agitated, a little too much nibbling with the secondary stuff. To center field, it'll drop in front of Charlie, and it'll drive in 2. '79th and 80th RBIs of the season for Nick Markakis. 2-0 Atlanta here in the 3rd.
He had to come fastball, a little cut to it. It jams Markakis. Because it's elevated, he's able to get enough wood on it. It's almost like the perfect lob wedge into the green just in front of Charlie. Well, and it also comes down to walks. 2 walks this inning for Antonio. And you're still not out of the woods yet.
And another first pitch miss, so it's 1-0 on Camargo. Camargo, a fly ball to left field his first time up. And 2-0. That's foul.
Margo have to give me that.
He doesn't have to, but it would be advisable.
He's a good natural cutter, and I think it's a little bit unfortunate for Senzatella not realizing how much his fastball's moving, because he probably would have thrown that to Freddie Freeman. And I think he would have thought twice to Nick Markakis is using that fastball a little bit more, even on a 2-0 pitch. He was able to jam Markakis.
Deep right. Cargo has a play, though. 2 runs in the inning. There were a couple of hits, a couple of walks. We'll go to the 4th. Atlanta out front 2-0.
to pitch this season. He told me he found out in the 8th inning he was going to pitch the 9th, and I asked him if he knew he had that kind of velocity.
I knew I could throw it a little bit. Last time I pitched was high school, 2007, and I threw a slider. I tried throwing a slider to DJ, and he gets on first and kind of motions slider to me, and I was just out there having fun, and it would be against my buddies too, throwing against DJ and Charlie and Nolan, but as a position player, you never want to face another position player, but I didn't want to go out there and just lollipop it either, so I tried a little bit.
So the position that Charlie Culberson was in, he said he tried to make light of it. He's facing his friends. He had Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado coming up. He said he flashed a big smile to Charlie Blackmon, and Charlie was all business about it. I asked Chuck Nasty about that. He said, yeah, I was trying to get a hit, man. And of course, he did end up getting a hit. DJ did too. He mentioned the slider comment from DJ, but you guys saw it. I mean, 94 miles per hour. That's what he threw to Charlie Blackmon when he got that hit. Charlie recognized that Culberson had some heat there, but he really has truly become the super utility of the Braves. He's now played 7 of 9 positions. He needs to get in center field, and as the emergency catcher, it could happen sometime that he gets behind the dish too.
Yeah, there's all those guys that you were mentioning, we've talked a lot about over the last month or so, that have gotten into games this year on the mound as managers become in vogue to protect pitchers in blowouts, their bullpens in blowouts. I don't know of anybody who's blown 94. And I asked Charlie also, as Jenny did, about Charlie Culberson, and he said he got up there and he's like, wow. That's on the outside corner. Or close enough that it's called strike 3. Culberson's first pitch last night was 91. The second was 94. Spin rate wise, the average four-seam fastball is around 2,200. His spin rate was closer to 2,400, well above average.
He was throwing hard.
That was Charlie's double.
Usually you're scared when you're facing a position player, but the guys treated him like it was another pitcher.
It was legit.
Hopefully his arm's okay. I'm assuming it is.
Nolan hits this ball in the air to right, and Markakis, who had an issue over there yesterday, makes this catch. Remember, DJ hit a ball in that same neighborhood, and he slowed up, and it landed fair and went for a ground rule double. 2 outs. That'll bring up Story.
Well, we've been talking about Trevor Story and his ability to run and how important it is in the series. Had an infield single, had the big error on 2 nights ago that led to the Rockies' win, had a stolen base. We're going to point out some of his numbers on how fast he is with his sprint speed, because he's in the top 5 in baseball. Take a look at the numbers brought to you by AWS. Trevor Story, 29.6 feet per second. That's that's top 5. Billy Hamilton, number 1. Trey Turner, Harrison Bader. Nice looking player for the Cardinals, and then Ronald Acuna.
And it can vary some, based on, your last several sprint speeds, because Trevor's been above 30 at different times this year on average.
Yeah, this is the average with over 100 max effort runs.
That's a strike, 1-2.
Don't forget, last night, Kyle Freeland touched 29.1 feet per second.
There's a slider fouled off. One thing you find, Billy, did you think about this when you were playing, that when you face good teams, and if you see where they've lost a couple in a row, the Rockies have handled them 2 straight times after winning 5 in a row. This is slowly hit up the middle, and Swanson didn't get him this time.
You can't get him. He's too fast for you.
Dansby Swanson just can't get Trevor Story, his counterpart. This will give you 20 points on average in a season, the way he runs.
Well, he gets jammed. It's up the middle. Dansby Swanson has to cover some ground to get there. It's not a great exchange, and if you're not setting your feet, throwing as hard as you can at first, Trevor will beat you. Just told you, he's the top 5 fastest guys in baseball. He's safe.
I think that's the one tool that a lot of people in baseball didn't realize about Trevor Story. Not just, yeah, he's better than average runner. No, he's an elite runner.
The beauty of him being able to get that infield single is that I think David Dahl has a chance to turn Fultonevich around.
Hope you're right. Outside. Anyhow, just finishing. When you face good teams and they've lost, whether you've done the damage or they've stumbled a couple of times, the good teams, it's like they ratcheted up a level if they had 2 or 3 losses in a row. We've seen the Rockies that way. This ball down the left field line, and it is just foul.
Well, good teams usually have good pitching, and that's what the Braves have. So after 2 straight losses, they're able to turn around and hand the ball to somebody that has a 2.8 ERA, which is nice.
Check swing foul ball, so it's 1-2 on Dahl. We're up in Birmingham, Alabama. Two and a half hours or so from Atlanta.
Ouch.
Yeah, don't do that again.
There's a good down and in slider. Looks like it catches on the inside portion of his foot, away from where that pad is. Oh, it's almost like the back of his heel. Looks like it's taken Dahl a little bit longer than usual, just because I think it didn't catch any of that armor on his foot. So that's a little bit alarming. Head back to school and support the Colorado Rockies by wearing gear from your favorite player. The Dugout Store has 5 locations, exclusive gift with purchase programs, and special promotions.
Yeah, this kid's dealt with so many kind of freakish type of injuries. And the broken foot he just came back from recently. Yeah, Kristen, if David Dahl can stay healthy, there's never been a question about his talent.
Let's see if he gets another slider down and in.
It's typically the way it works, right?
Yeah, that's mean.
1-2 with 2 outs. And that is a base hit. Story with his wheels will end up at third. Dahl's pushing it, trying to get the second. He's in there. Good base running David Dahl. A leg double. And with 2 outs, the Rockies are a single away from tying it. Good for David.
Well, Fultonevich went back with the curveball instead of the slider. Leaves it up just enough. Actually, that's a great pitch. Dahl just puts the barrel on it. Camargo, that's reaction's priceless. And check out the play on the backside. Trevor's going to go first to third pretty easily, but Acuna goes bare hand across his body like a shortstop and almost throws Dahl out at second.
Time now for the big hit, brought to you by Mako. Last night, Ian Desmond had a big night offensively. This was huge. Rockies were down, bases loaded, 2 outs, and he uncorks a triple. 3 ribbies there, and then later in the ball game, he would have a base hit to right field to drive in 2 more. 5 RBI night for Desi. 65 on the season to go with 19 home runs, and his first pitch in this sequence was a strike. Man, I thought he had extra bases his first time up. He unloaded a line drive to deep left, but Acuna Jr. was hanging out there in left center, as he is right now. They swing their outfield toward right. And again, if you look at the spray chart in the outfield for Desmond, he hits a ton of balls toward right. So that one he pulls a little bit, but it ends up right at Acuna Jr. where off the bat you thought it was a gapper. That's a strike. 1-2.
For the season, Desmond's been very good with runners in scoring position, higher than his natural batting average, hitting .260. So he's getting his hits when they count.
Two and two. He fouled that one off of Suzuki, and now Kurt's going to hobble around. That was pretty good cover there. That was a good pitch. Time for our Lowe's whole team together. Team offense, the Rockies are 4th in the league with 573 runs scored. And in terms of ribbies, Nolan 4th, Trevor 5th. And Desi with the 5 last night, now sitting in 21st place in the National League. Trying to add to that total right here. Great speed on base. Story at third, Dahl at second. 2 outs. Top of 4. The Rockies trailing 2-0. The hits even at 4. That was really close.
Ooh.
3-2. If Suzuki sticks this, it may have gone the other way. Fortunately, it did not.
Good late movement. Joe West looking at it.
Time was called.
Well, Fultonevich wasn't looking. He was checking Dahl at second. And you could hear Ian Desmond was asking for it early. Timeout, timeout.
You know, Fultonevich is irritated. I understand that, but time was granted. And you're taught, as a pitcher, go through with your delivery. Less likely that you'll, injure something trying to stop. So here we go. Full count on Desi. And he got him with a slider. He's thrown a few excellent sliders tonight. That was one of his best. Rockies leave 2 in scoring position. Braves up 2-0. Ender Inciarte is going to lead things off against Senzatella. He needs that 1-2-3 inning, and he throws a curveball for strike one. And that's on the ground to second. DJ moves his feet, smooth as can be. One out. Watch him field ground balls all night long. That'll bring up the catcher, Suzuki. High pitch count in that third inning for Senzatella. So not only does he want a 1-2-3 inning, he wants to do it with an economy of pitches. That's a strike.
Well, I'd like to see him use his fastball more. He's difficult to square up. You see a lot of foul balls with his fastball. I think back to last inning, there's just some bad decisions with the pitch sequences. This should be an easy play for Trevor. Uh-oh. Luckily, there's a catcher running.
Yeah, fortunately, Trevor wasn't running, and Suzuki was. 2 outs.
Goes with the fastball, late movement. You can see the natural cut in between hop and just jumps up on Trevor. He's not going to panic.
Two ground balls. That'll bring up Dansby Swanson. He had a base hit in the 5.5 hole his first time. Georgia native who went to Vanderbilt. Where's that pitch? Ball one.
Tony Walters turned around and asked the exact same question to Joe West.
And a few at the bottom of the strike zone not called. It's got to be a strike, right?
Throw that pitch again. I'm telling you, it's just not going to get hit.
Good breaking ball, 1-2.
Well, Corey asked for it. He asked for a 1-2-3 inning. Senzatella is right on the verge of having it. Should have Corey do more game breaks.
Two balls, two strikes. Three and two. Boy, you really want to get Swanson here. You have the luxury next inning of the pitcher leading off. Another 3-2 upcoming. This is playable. Cargo in foul ground, maybe not. That wind pushed that ball away from Carlos. We saw the ball earlier in the ball game. We made mention of Ian Desmond's bullet to deep left center field, and you and I both thought off the bat that that was going to be a double. And again, Acuna was shaded heavily to left center field, but the ball got knocked down. There's a breeze coming in through that open area in left center field. I think it had something to do with that baseball just a moment ago that was popped up along the right field line and drifted away from Cargo. 3-2 again. This one, I guarantee you, will be caught.
Big words.
Yep. 1-2-3 inning. Corey asked for it. Corey gets the 1-2-3 inning. Good for Sensatella. We'll go to the fifth. Rockies trailing 2-0.
A fan favorite, even in the Denver metro area growing up, getting the Atlanta Braves with TBS in town was this guy, number 10, Chipper Jones. So today, the bobblehead giveaway, we thought we'd take a look back at Chipper's career. It was a good one. He was a switch hitter, 19 years in a Braves uniform. Just one game shy of 2,500. He had 549 doubles, 468 home runs, and a career .303 batting average. Well, a guy that grew up getting to watch him right here in Georgia, our own Charlie Blackmon.
I did grow up in Atlanta. I was a fan of the Braves, and Chipper Jones was a big part of the Braves at that time. And I would sometimes emulate hitters when we would play wiffle ball, so I would get to switch hit sometimes and be Chipper Jones.
Well, pretty fun for Charlie Blackmon, and he was talking about Chipper during spring training because, of course, Chipper going into the Hall of Fame this year, part of the class of 2018. I know Charlie admired him for certain growing up, and I'm sure number 10, like it was on my softball teams, was a hard number to come by. The bobblehead giveaway, though, very cool. Chipper Crazy Train, that's what it's called, because it actually plays Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. Drew, I know you know that song.
Yeah, I do. But I'm not going to sing it.
Spilly? A note? Anyone?
Never heard of it.
Oh, come on. Here, let's see if the bobblehead, if you can hear it.
Yeah, he's the bobblehead. Let's hear it. Oh, that's awesome.
Does that work? Kind of?
You know what I loved about, there's a lot of things to admire about Chipper Jones.
Sorry, it's fun.
1-2 on Tony. There's Chipper tonight. Recent inductee to the Hall of Fame. You want to talk about consistency? He hit .303 lefty. He hit .304 righty. How about that?
He's amazing. He was amazing.
He had a great line when he was inducted last month into the Hall of Fame, and he was asked, what are you going to, something along the lines by a reporter, what are you going to say, in that room with all the other Hall of Famers, your first time? He said, that's strike three. He basically said, I'm going to sit in the corner and take it all in and keep my mouth closed. Adopting, the old school rookie.
That's right. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, as cool as it was for Chipper Jones to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, he played about a week later with a group of guys in a tournament in Kentucky. He was playing baseball with Matt Diaz and Rick Ankiel He wouldn't play with the group of guys. Bobby Cox was managing it, or Johnny Bench was managing it. It was great.
Is that when Rick Ankiel announced that he's thinking about making a comeback?
Yeah, it was the Bluegrass World Series.
Senzatella's thrown out, 5-3. 2 gone in the Rockies' 5th. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. Charlie, strikeout and a line drive to center field that was snared by Inciarte.
Yeah, I was watching highlights of that Bluegrass World Series, and Chipper Jones got a hit, and I saw him score from second. He was sliding into home, and it was against other college players.
How'd he look?
He looked great.
Look like Chipper?
Well, a little bit
bigger Chipper?
Yeah, a little bit bigger Chipper.
Swing, the swing's the same.
Swing didn't change. Swing was amazing.
I think you could take Willie Mays right now. All the great ones, and if they were to take a swing, it would, not the same bat speed, but the swing would look the same, wouldn't it?
Pretty darn close.
2-0 on Charlie. I think the Rockies can get something going here with 2 outs. Twofold. One, it's necessary. They're down 2-0. The other thing is pitch count is at 86 right now. Be able to run Fultonevich off early tonight. 2 outs in the 5th inning. Fultonevich twice has thrown 113, actually twice has thrown 113 pitches in a game this year, including in his last outing beating Miami. Out of play.
Well, that elevated pitch count comes down to the fact that this is the 6th time Fultonevich has seen a 3-ball count. He's yet to walk anybody.
Three-two. And this is popped up toward Camargo. So a 1-2-3 5th inning for Fultonevich. The Rockies trail 2-0 here in Atlanta. Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. As Great mural of the guy we were just talking about, the Hall of Famer, Chipper Jones. And at the plate is the pitcher, Mike Foltynewicz. Foltynewicz has thrown the ball well tonight. He's thrown the ball well all season long. 2.86 ERA coming in. 2-out soft single to center that Nick Markakis produced against Senzatella in the third is the difference right now in this ball game. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cunha Jr.'s on deck. Foltynewicz did not swing. 2-1. This guy's hitting .071. Won't mess around. And now it's 3-1. Out in front of the plate. Tony's got it, and that's the first out. Well, you may have missed it, but if you're a hardcore Rockies fan, I'm sure you did not. Matt Holliday, it's not just last night, but for a while has really been swinging the bat well as he tries to come back after being not in retirement, but just was not involved the first 4 months of the season. Hit a long home run last night. He's got 3 of those, hitting .370. Down in Albuquerque, and Buddy was asked about the progress of one Matt Holliday today.
From our reports, yeah, he's moving around well. I think that's the thing that we really wanted to identify, and so did Matt. He knows what he can do when he's right, and all reports are that he's showing that he's right.
Well, you see Acuna with a double with 1 out, but just we'll pick up on the comments of Buddy on Matt Holliday. And front offices, coaches, they look, Spilly, as you know, at more than just what the results are.
Sure.
They want to see about the defense. They want to see how the body, he reacts after playing 2 days in a row. And those are things that don't show up in a box score. They show up visually, they show up in conversations, and to hear Buddy say, everything so far looks right, that's great news.
It is great news, but it's also a different role for Holliday. I mean, I get waiting for the body to recover, but he's not going to be asked to be an everyday guy. He's going to be coming off the bench.
Albies pops up. This should be the 2nd out. Nolan will get called off by Story, and then he goes screaming back to third to make sure somebody was there. Well, that was a big pitch right there. You're not out of the woods yet, though. You have Freddie Freeman standing in the box. It would be a different role for Matt. And if you are also curious as to where he's been playing in Albuquerque, he's been playing in left field, which has been his primary spot throughout his career. He's also played a little bit of first.
It's great. I mean, he's going to need to be versatile. There's no question. And I can't wait to see him back in a Rockies uniform whenever that is.
Freeman a line drive into a double play in the first, and he walked in the third. Rockies put 3 on the right side for Freeman. Senzatella trying to keep it a 2-run game. Bounced past Eric Young, who had
He had no desire to
little
make
interest
that
in fielding that.
Come on, EY.
It's the leaders in batting average in the National League. Jose Martinez at 308. Nolan just slightly below that. This is foul. I'll tell you what, Tony did everything he could to get that in fair territory.
Tony was considering running around Freddie Freeman.
Now, if he was able to run around him and then gets knocked over by Freddie, Freddie be called out. Could have been. Never seen that play before.
That would have been the first. I wonder if Joe West in his 5,100 plus games have seen that play.
2 strikes on Freeman. Remember when Freeman and Hayward came up together in the Braves organization, and it's at the time of their career where they're kind of going back and forth between AAA Gwinnett County and the big leagues. They were roommates and very close friends. For a while, one guy would go to one park, the other guy would go to the other park. Swung on and missed. Big pitch by Senzatella. He gets the strikeout with Acuna standing at second base. 2-0. Rockies trailing. They'll have DJ to lead it off. Speed challenge question of the night. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM to cast your vote. This is a simple one. When you're in the South, you have to ask, how do you like your tea? Sweetened or unsweetened? You're going to get that question down here, and you have to be prepared with the proper answer. I like mine sweetened.
I typically will never have it sweetened, but when you're in the South, when in Rome.
Or when you're in Rome, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have it sweet. Fultonevich, a first pitch strike to DJ, a line out, and somewhat controversial 2 unassisted. He hit a foul ball, what we thought was a foul ball. This is line to right, foul ball here. That contacted him when he still had a foot in the box. Joe West ruled that he did not have that foot in the box and called him out. And it was a big deal because Tony Walters was standing at third base.
I had somebody text me, well, the reason why he was called out is because he stepped on home plate. That wasn't the ruling. And we've read Joe West's lips a couple times. It was because he was out of the box and he touched the baseball.
First 2 times through the lineup, Fultonevich has allowed an OPS of 609 and 545. Third time through, Spilly, 831. It jumps up this third time through.
That's where the Rockies have been getting better at. Last couple of weeks, we've seen the Rockies offense in those late innings start to string those at bats together, get those come from behind victories.
Pitch counts getting elevated into the mid-90s. LeMahieu, Cargo, Arenado. Beyond that, Story, Dahl. That is another strikeout, though. 7 for Fultonevich. He's averaging a career best 10.4 strikeouts per 9 innings this year.
Sunday, September 9th is a Dia de los Rockies. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a Los Rockies jersey and come early for a pregame concert on the rooftop featuring Izzy Cali.
Cargo 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. A pitch he thought was off the plate. Fastball. 0-1. Oh, and 2. Rockies began the day game and a half behind Arizona in the West. Cargo has gone down 3 times against Foltynewicz. 8 strikeouts for Foltynewicz. I'll bring up Nolan. He has one of the Rockies' 4 hits tonight. Line single to center in the second. Center field, and Ciarte will have it, and the Rockies go very quickly and very quietly in the 6th. Middle of 6, 2-0 Atlanta. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Well, you know what happened between innings? The Freeze ran, and the Freeze got beat. He had won 7 races in a row. If this race, Billy's 10 yards longer, he's going to get him.
He's going to get him. But I'm also throwing the red flag on the field. I'm challenging.
What do you have?
Well,
false start?
No, he's allowed that false start. But the outfield's pretty wet. It's been raining all day. You can imagine the Freeze. He's not going to take that corner in center field. It's like a wet racetrack.
So you're saying the Freeze isn't a mutter?
No, he's not. No, he doesn't want to blow out on that one. You know, you win some, you lose some, but it wasn't ideal track. It wasn't ideal track.
It wasn't an ideal track. It was not ideal track conditions, but the Freeze is a member of the grounds crew, so he knows the turf.
Yeah, that's why he didn't want to run on it.
Smart man. That is called a ball. Jake McGee's now in there here in the 6th inning. 82 pitches for Senzatella, and he was coming off a pretty strong inning. But he's now out of the ball game, having allowed the 2 runs over 5 innings, 5 hits, couple of walks, and a strikeout. This has been unusual, where a Rocky starter's not out there in the 6th or 7th inning. And McGee falls behind 3-0 on Markakis. Jake had this issue the other day when he came in. Threw 6 straight balls. And that is called a strike. And you can see, though, on the Subaru strike zone, maybe getting squeezed a bit. First 2 pitches were right at the top of the zone. Markakis right now, the difference in this game, that bloop single just in front of Charlie Blackmon in center with 2 outs in the 3rd to score both runs for Atlanta. Jake's going to get out Markakis here. Story. 1 out. 1 gone, and Johan Camargo, the 3rd baseman, will come up.
Well, I thought it was important for Jake McGee yesterday to get in the game and then get in again today, because he hasn't been used as much over the last week. And granted, that it has to do with how well the starting rotation has been pitching.
Camargo takes a strike. Camargo in his minor league career, Spilly, hit 19 home runs. This year he's got 13 in 1 season. His minor league career was from 2012 through last year. Did come up a little bit last year, about half a season's worth of games. Actually, let me correct that. I said 19. He had 4 last year, so 15 minor league home runs total, and now he's got 13 this year. A lot of times pop does develop later.
Well, and I do think at the major league level should be a routine play for DJ. I think at the major league level, with lighting and the baseballs and velocity and adrenaline, guys will have a pretty big jump if you have power, if you have contact, to drive the ball out of the yard.
Did you feel like the Major League Baseballs flew better than the minor league baseballs?
No, but I felt like major league pitchers were around the strike zone more often. That if you could get your good swing, and if you guess right, or if you have your good swing locked in on a location and they miss location, you can do some damage.
Ciarte twice has hit the ball on the ground to LeMahieu. That almost always results in an out. Strike 1. Ciarte from the same city as Carlos Gonzalez. They're very good friends. Ciarte from Maracaibo.
Do you think the Diamondbacks regret at all the trade of Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson and Ender Ciarte as he just shoots one into left field?
Well, you have to pay a premium for what they felt was an elite pitcher, and it's certainly an elite arm. Unfortunately for Miller, he hasn't been able to stay healthy in a Diamondback uniform.
The Braves got 2 huge pieces, 2 guys that play every single day.
I've always felt like Inciarte is an underrated player.
There's no question. He was underrated when he was with the Diamondbacks, and they had him.
Not a power guy, an outstanding center fielder. Speed guy with 24 stolen bases. And he's going to be looking to run here, you would think.
See Desmond. Fake tagged him like he had the baseball.
There he goes. He's picked off. Desi clears the space, and he's out at second. That's just a great, great job by Ian Desmond, coming to get the baseball to create the great angle to get it to Story. A caught stealing, 1-3-6.
And has a unique song selection for the Rockies roster. Here's how he picked it in our UC Health Rocky Routine.
Before the first game of a series, that morning I'll kind of go through the lineup, go look on the internet to see who's usually playing for the team. And then I'll kind of formulate my, I guess my favorite songs that I would play for each player. But then I leave it up to Twitter to really just tell me, what they would choose or what I'm missing, or if there's any popular music that I have missed. Twitter definitely helps, having fan feedback, and even my friends texting me during a game. Like last night, actually, a friend texted me, and he wanted to hear the Never-Ending Story theme for Story. And I've been playing the Brady Bunch for him, because here's a story. And I've been playing also the Toy Story, You've Got a Friend in Me.
Well, we've been story punning forever, so we definitely understand as Trevor's Story did not leg that one out. Grounds out to start the inning here. I asked him what he would play for me. He said, that's easy, 8675309, a little Tommy Two-Tone for Jenny, right? Ryan Spilborgs, do you remember what he played for you when you were up to bat?
I don't remember. It might have been like Indiana Jones or something.
Raiders is the Lost
There
Ark,
you go.
yes.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg, of course, right?
Yep. That's
What would you pick for Drew Goodman?
I thought about this. You Never Even Call Me By My Name, which is a country song, David Allan Coe. Now, you might be asking yourself why.
I was asking why.
Because the person who wrote that song, his name was Steve Goodman.
There you go. And see, that's exactly what Matthew does. He goes down the rabbit's hole to find it. But he's a fun fellow on Twitter, @BravesOrganist. He plays along. He lets you chime in on songs. He does it, obviously, for every visiting team, so he has a lot of fun with it. Drew, I was going to pick Good Vibrations for you, for Goody. Is that better?
At least I would have known that tune.
That's why I picked one that you would
I
get.
appreciate that. I thought somebody was going to go old school and pick out a Benny Goodman tune.
I'm telling you, if we walked into the Battery and there's a couple restaurants that are probably going to play some karaoke, country karaoke, if you heard this song, you would know exactly what it is.
Good.
It's a very popular bar song. Look at it, Desi.
You know me so well that I know tunes, but I don't know the names of them. So I would know this one. Good. 2-2 on David Dahl. That was a heck of a play by Camargo on the slow roller to get Trevor. That's funny. Off the bat, that one I said, no question, he's going to be safe. It's starting to get late. Or as Yogi said, it gets late earlier now. Here's the slow roller, and you think this one's in no man's land. If Swanson touches it, and there's no way he's going to get him. The only guy was Camargo, and Camargo made a great play. The Rockies with 1 out, nobody on in the 7th, trailing 2-0. 108 pitches in for Foltynewicz. Again, his season high is 113. 3 times he's thrown 110 or more. Johnny Venters, what a great story he is. The left-hander's up. And another strikeout. Foltynewicz with 9 strikeouts. And he has retired 8 in a row. Let me correct that, 9 in a row now. Last base runner was Dahl. His double over the third baseman's head in the 4th. The Rockies at 2nd and 3rd with Desmond up in 2 outs. Unfortunately, Desi struck out on a 3-2 slider. He just, that's a pitch. He just backed out of the box, but no time was called. And it was a ball, 1-0.
Desmond think he was going to get thrown out? Or?
I want, you know what? Go back and remember, he called time. Time was granted. Foltynewicz kind of held up and then was really upset. And I wonder, 2 outs, nobody on, if Desmond thought he may get drilled. Billy, you'd be more of the expert on such topics.
I can't never tell what's going on in a person's mind. That's my only guess.
This is back up the middle. Foltynewicz somehow comes up with it. 10 in a row. He's set down now, and we'll stretch in Atlanta. The Rockies down 2-0, middle of 7th. No hidden fees, that's transparency. And by UC Health, live extraordinary. That's a museum on the lower level here at SunTrust Park. They did a terrific job with it. The old bats, gloves, and so much memorabilia, so much on the history of the Braves. They do have a rich history. You know who's in the building tonight? The former commissioner, Bud Selig.
Oh, he is.
Bud Selig's here.
It's a good night to be in Atlanta. It's nice out.
Scott Oberg's going to take over in the 7th inning. Congrats to the new papa. He and his wife, Diana, welcomed in a baby girl earlier in the week, Charlotte Rose. And this is his first outing since becoming a dad. Kurt Suzuki's at the plate. And that is going to be a base hit.
Nolan almost pulled one out of his magic hat. First pitch slider, Suzuki jumps all over it. We've seen Nolan make this play where he fields it behind his hip. He just kicks off below the webbing. Wasn't able to secure it.
Tough play. The base hit. Now Dansby Swanson's up. Single and a pop out for Swanson. Good heater, 0-1. Dansby Swanson hits 8th in the Braves lineup of Brian Snitker. Adam Duvall's in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. That clearly a strike. 0-2. Johnny Venters was up last inning. Nobody's throwing right now. See if it's just Venters is ready or they go in a different direction. Use different guys to set up. Maybe use some different guys to close. A.J. Minter's done some closing, the rookie.
I said this a couple days ago. They had 5 players in their bullpen that have had at least a save this season.
Remember they used Brad Brock the other day. The Rockies scored 3 runs off of him to pull off that come from behind win in the 9th inning on Thursday. Foul ball. Should be 2. There's 1 and there's 2.
Such great hands by Trevor Story. It was another almost in between hop for him again this infield because of the rain. It's not playing as smooth as possible. You have to have good hands to be able to recover because that very easily could have eaten up Trevor Story. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price. For $59.99, watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
Well, with nobody on, instead of Duvall, it'll be Ryan Flaherty pinch hitting in the 7th. Hits it to DJ. DJ will go to first, and a good inning for Scott Oberg. Gave up a hit, got a double play behind it. Rockies in the 8th inning will have Walters scheduled to lead off, down 2-zip. Alexis look back. This soft single with 2 outs drove in 2 off the bat of Nick Markakis. That's all the offense in the game. Senzatello went 5 innings. Again, the only 2 he would give up. But the story has been Atlanta's Mike Fulton Evans, 7 shutout innings. He allowed just 4 hits, did not walk a batter, struck out 9. And in the 8th inning, he'll depart and give way to the hard-throwing lefty Johnny Venters, who was out of baseball for quite some time and just got back to the big leagues not all that long ago. And Venters will be appearing in his 23rd game this year, his 9th with Atlanta. And the Rockies, with Walters due up, will pinch hit Garrett Hampson here. Chris Iannetta is standing on deck. See if Hampson can ignite this Rockies offense against the bullpen of Atlanta. Venters still throws hard, 95 with that fastball.
Think about this. Johnny Venters was an all-star and hadn't pitched in the big league since 2012. He went through a string of just bad luck and bad injuries. And Johnny Venters, when he made his major league debut, Drew, Ubaldo's no-hitter back in 2010.
That game?
Yep.
2-0 is in there, 2-1.
April 17th, 2010, Johnny Venters made his major league debut, and it was historic for the Rockies.
Down low, 3-1. You'll see stories where guys, because of Tommy John or other circumstances, will miss a couple of years and come back. He did have Tommy John in 2015, but that's ball 4. Great job by the speedster Hampson. So he reaches in a 2-run game to begin the 8th inning. But for him to have been away from Major League Baseball for half a dozen years, really an incredible story.
And the fact that he stuck with it.
I mean, 13, 14, and 15, he didn't throw a professional pitch at any level.
I know, it's a remarkable story.
Here's Iannetta.
That was a great at bat, to your point, Drew, about Hampson getting on, leading off, wasn't chasing anything, and now Venters has his hands full again with somebody that won't chase in Chris Iannetta.
That's outside. Venters started the year with Tampa. One and one. Venters held the league below 200. That's great. He's walked 9 though in 21 innings. So there's some walk. Now 10, I should say, in 21 innings. So there's some walk in his game.
Well, you'll see that when you have a heavy sinker like Venters does, has a 71% ground ball rate, which is the highest on his team. Add that with the fact that he's throwing that fastball 70% of the time because of the great sink and movement. And because of great sinker ballers, they typically have a higher walk rate than most.
Blackman on deck. 1 and 2 on Iannetta. Chris pinch hitting here will obviously stay in the game since Walters preceded him in the lineup, and he was pinch hit for by Hampson, who's at first. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Atlanta. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Rockies. Close.
Oh, he got one.
2 and 2.
Yeah,
Been a smallish zone really all night. for Joe West.
Backdoor slider, great movement late. Iannetta got away with one. Take it. That was all over the Subaru strike zone.
And he takes another one. That's a little further away, 3-2. Crowd,
Yeah, I can live with that one.
Yeah, crowd full of umpires thought that was a strike also. But this is what Chris brings.
Yeah, that one's clearly off the plate.
Got to assume you're getting that fastball again if you're Iannetta. Does Hampson take off?
He should.
Not going, and that's wasted. Good job by Chris.
I understand you never want to run yourself out of an inning, but you also have to understand that Venters is a high ground ball pitcher. So if you can get a good read, what makes it more difficult is that Venters, as a lefty, has an advantage. It's harder for base stealers to just go when he lifts his leg. You don't want to get picked off.
Again, not going, and this is going to turn into a 6-4-3.
The first 15,000 fans on Friday, August 24th will receive a Charlie Blackmon beard beanie, courtesy of the Colorado Beef Council and KOA News Radio.
So Blackmon with 2 outs. 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout, line out, pop out. 3-hit ball game last night. His first since July the 11th. Single, double, triple last night for Charlie. Whenever Charlie's back in Atlanta, it's like he's running for office. One and one. He's got a ton of folks here at the ballpark. On the outside corner, 1-2. Yeah, you described it really accurately. The difficult part about running 3-2 with a left-hander is you got to make sure. Suzuki had that hit his finger. You have to make sure he goes to the plate. He can't get picked off. That ball was hit so hard, even had he been going, it's a high likelihood it still would have been a 6-4-3 double play.
Sure. And most likely they weren't going to move Dansby Swanson to cover second base, so it would have basically been the same result, but at least you force a little bit of action. Those are the tough decisions managers have to make constantly.
Three-two. Slowly hit toward Albies, and I don't think he got him. Nope. Charlie gets a leg single. That'll save an at bat here in the 8th for LeMahieu.
The Braves feature basically 3 shortstops. Albies has shortstop-like movements and arm. You've seen him make some remarkable plays at second base. This one, it looks like he struggles to get the ball out of his glove. And it's just enough for Charlie to make it to first base with that leg infield single.
Brian Snitker doesn't want Venters to face LeMahieu. We'll get a pitching change. It'll be Dan Winkler when we come back. But a pitching performance, a matchup between Antonio Sensatella tonight, his return to the rotation, and Mike Foltynewicz. Antonio in 5 innings gives up 2 runs on 5 hits. Foltynewicz was really good. 4 hits, no runs, struck out 9, did not walk a batter, over 113 pitches. With 2 outs, Blackman at first, DJ facing Dan Winkler. Winkler's been good right on right, allowing just a 179 batting average. DJ tonight 0 for 3.
If you remember the name Dan Winkler, it's because the Rockies had him in the organization. If you remember when we talked about this great Double-A pitching group between Eddie Butler, John Gray, well, Dan Winkler was part of that, and he suffered a Tommy John surgery and was Rule 5 while he was on the disabled list.
That's most unusual, isn't it?
That doesn't happen too often.
Rockies have won the last 8 starts for John Gray. 2-1 on LeMahieu. Good swing by DJ. Three and 2. Charlie will get untracked at first base. You know, even though the Rockies have a goose egg up on the scoreboard, you have confidence because you're only down 2 runs. Rockies have been better of late in ball games. This ball's in the air to right, and it'll be an easy play out there for Markakis. So we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Atlanta continues to lead 2-0. Braves leading 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. There's Bobby Cox. Let's set the starters for tomorrow. It'll be German Marquez on a Sunday afternoon in Atlanta against Anibal Sanchez, the veteran right-hander. Having a good year with the Braves. Got a 3.07 ERA. And Marquez has been in a really good place. We're on the Earth pregame show at 11 in the morning back home. And it'll be Brian Shaw here in the bottom of the 8th inning, like McGee, working on back-to-back days for the first time in a while. Brian yesterday in the Rockies' 11-5 victory gave up a run on a couple of hits. It'll be his 53rd appearance. Still at the top of the order. Here's Ronald Acuna Jr. Doubled his last time up. That's a strike. Hit it off the very top of the wall in left center field. So he's gone single, walk, double. And he's got himself another hit off the end of the bat.
You go through stretches where anytime you put the ball in play, you're going to get a hit. But this guy's gone through a stretch for the last basically 2 weeks. Every time he puts the ball in play, it's either a home run or a hit.
So Ozzie Albies one for 3 tonight. Albies had a bunt base hit last night. Nolan's even with the bag, swung over. Acuna, 9 stolen bases. He's one of those guys, we showed the StatCast earlier. He's one of those guys that'll gobble up 30 feet a second, which makes him elite in terms of speed. He takes off, and Ionetta's throw. Safe. Good throw by Chris, right on the bag.
It was. But again, the base runners steal off the pitcher. It's a high leg kick. And his speed on full display. Trevor does a good tag. Ionetta gets a good pitch to throw on. It's a good transfer, great strong throw. Acuna's just too fast.
One and one on Albies. Good pitch.
Good late movement for Brian Shaw, 92 miles an hour. Albies swings right through it.
Big strikeout there. He gets Albies. Now Freddie Freeman with one out. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs.
It's only the second strikeout for the Braves tonight.
Freeman 0 for 2 and a walk. Ball 1. Hit to left. Dahl up with it. Acuna coming home, and he is safe on the single by Freeman. And it is 3-0 Atlanta. Both singles off the end of the bat. But Acuna was in scoring position after the stolen base.
That's a great example of why speed in this league is so necessary and stealing bags are so necessary. It's like a lost art. But Acuna and the Braves put together an inning, scoring a run on 2 broken bat singles.
And Markakis takes that pitch high, 2-0.
Braves came into tonight with a 68-53 record, a half a game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies, who lost tonight to the New York Mets and Jacob deGrom 3-1 in Philadelphia. Rockies have taken a bit of the Braves' mojo the last 2 days.
Two and one on Markakis. 2-2 on Markakis.
Freddie Freeman was leaning. Shot just like Ottavino. Slow towards home plate. Couple that with the fact that it's been 35 stolen bases against Chris Iannetta and only 2 caught stealing.
Two balls, 2 strikes, Freeman at first. And it's 3-2 on Nick Markakis. Freeman goes, ball 4. No, strike 3. The delayed call by West,
Oh, he got
and they
him.
get to strike him out, throw him out. Great tag by Story on Freddie Freeman. And Freeman's going, nah, I think I was out. Usually it's the other way
That's
around. Hey,
great.
check it out. In the inning, there were 2 hits and a run. So we'll go to the 9th, Atlanta leading 3-0.
Nice throw, Chris. Good tag, Trevor. Love striking out, throw him out.
a broken bat flare to center field that dropped, unfortunately, in front of where Charlie could get to. I mean, if it hangs in the air for another millisecond, it's caught. And that's it. So A.J. Minter with the Rockies down 3-0. The rookie looking for his 12th save. Cargo will lead things off.
No shock, Minter, big fastball, 97 miles an hour, has a changeup to go with it. That's a lethal combination. But his best secondary pitch is a slider. He'll throw it about 48% of the time. So you have a 97 mile an hour fastball and he goes slider majority of it.
One and one. Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Well, Rockies trying to duplicate, Spilly, what they did on Thursday evening. Rally in the 9th. We were down 3-2 in the 9th on Thursday. Rallied for 3, won 5-3. This will be a little bigger hill to climb, down 3-0. Not impossible, 3-1.
Especially if you get a free pass from Minter. Cargo chased one. But 97 miles an hour, you're trying to get started. You're still looking for a pitch. There's a couple pitches on the outside portion of the plate that have gone against Cargo tonight.
I always remind people, you have to make that decision when the ball leaves the hand in less than 4/10 of a second whether to swing. Camargo throws out Cargo, 1 out in the 9th.
Well, Brian Snitker's coming out along with the trainer to come see Minter. It seems to be like they're looking at his finger.
So I guess much ado about nothing. 1 out, and that'll bring up Nolan. Single back in the 2nd inning, 1 for 3. And the Rockies been limited to 5 hits tonight. 2 are the infield variety. Story's in the 4th, Charlie's in the 8th. The only extra base hit was David Dahl's flare over Camargo's head at 3rd. I think the hardest hit ball was Ian Desmond in the 2nd inning, a line drive to deep left center. That's baseball on a night prior where the Rockies scored 11 runs on 16 hits. 24 hours later, they don't have a run and just 5 hits with 1 out in the 9th inning.
The Braves have pitched extremely well tonight. Fultonevich was fantastic. Venters and Winkler found their way out of it. I mean, it is pretty remarkable when you look at both sides. It's come down to a handful of pitches.
That is on one hop to Albies. He'll throw out Nolan. 2 gone. Trevor Story, last hope for the Rockies to keep it going. '97 misses down low, ball 1. This ball's driven left field and deep, and it is going to go off the base of the wall. Acuna is going to throw it back in, but it's a 2-out double for Story. Another multi-hit night for Trevor. We'll bring up Dahl.
Minter goes with the, looks like a little bit of a cut fastball in. Trevor pulls his hands in nice. Acuna almost made a play on him. Almost caught it and then almost threw out Trevor Story at second. A tough at bat for David Dahl. Minter is holding lefties to a 190 batting average.
One strike on David. Double and a couple of strikeouts tonight. Somehow he could reach. Desmond would represent the tying run. And this is lined to center field. He will reach. Story will come around and score. No, he won't. He'll stop at third. Because his run is not important. And he threw on the brakes late. So it's first and third, 2 outs, and Desmond will get a chance. Good swing left on left here, Spilly.
It was a good swing. A little surprised Trevor wasn't able to score on this, but people respect the arm of Ender Inciarte, Gold Glover in center. You do not want to run yourself out of a game, especially down 3 runs. You respect the fact that Stu Cole is saying, nope, I don't care about the shutout. I want this team to win.
Line out, strikeout, hard comebacker for Desmond tonight. Ball 1. Gerardo Parra, if Desmond were to reach, pitcher's spot due next.
Desmond had a pitch he can handle. We've seen him handle that fastball down and into him. Just off the barrel.
Two and one.
Minter, a former Texas A&M alum. Look at this, Drew. He only pitched 60 innings in the minor leagues. He had Tommy John back in 2015, but only 60 minor league innings throughout 2 years of professional baseball pitching.
2-2. Well, you know, mid to upper 90s is going to be mid to upper 90s. You might as well throw those bullets At the big league level, right?
And the Braves have protected this guy. Trying to give him a couple days after every outing he has.
Two and two with 2 outs, 2 on. 3 and 2.
They often compare A.J. Minter to a left-handed version of Craig Kimbrell, former Rookie of the Year that was here for the Atlanta Braves. Look at his setup.
Big Saturday night crowd standing. Desmond trying to put them in their seats. Two-out double by Story, 2-out single by Dahl. Here we go, 3-2. Line to left, into the corner. 1 run is scored. David Dahl will get a green light. He'll come home. Ian Desmond comes through, and he's in scoring position at second. A 2-run, 2-out double from Desmond.
Gotta love it.
7 RBIs the last 24 hours.
What an at-bat for Ian. Felt like he had good looks at his fastball. He got one 3-2. Everybody on their feet. Just yanks his hands in, saw the natural cut. It's gonna be easy for David Dahl to score, and Rockies are in business.
They'll meet Minter at the mound. The Rockies will have Gerardo Parra to pinch hit. Now Gerardo has been great all year with runners in scoring position, one of the best in the league. But he's hitting only 188 left on left. The Rockies do not have a right-handed option. They used Garrett Hampson and Chris Iannetta in the 8th inning. All year we've been talking about it. You gotta love the fight of this club. Next to nothing happening offensively all night. And now all of a sudden with 2 outs and nobody on, they've rallied for 2, and a base hit with Desmond's speed in all likelihood would tie it. Outside.
David Dahl came through with the very difficult left on left. Dahl was hitting 132 left on left and 38 bats. It's Gerardo Parra's turn, another tough matchup. Hitting 188 against lefties, 16 for 85.
Parra, base hit left field. Desmond coming around third. The Rockies have tied it up. Gerardo Parra coming through. How do you like this 2-out rally?
I love it. Are you kidding me? 2 outs, nobody on. Trevor Story, David Dahl, Desi, and now Parra. Are you kidding me?
4 straight hits with 2 outs and nothing going on but the Braves counting down at the post-game concert.
Off the end of the bat, the natural cut from Minter's fastball. It almost works out perfectly for Gerardo. If he barrels that up, Acuna might have a shot to make a play.
Awesome stuff. Story, Dahl, Desmond, Gerardo Parra. And now they'll come and get Minter.
That was the least likely of scenarios. I could never have imagined the way it turned out. 2 outs, nobody on in the 9th inning with Minter throwing bullets.
Hope you didn't run away from this one too early. We're tied at 3. Luke Jackson to Chris Iannetta. First pitch down low, ball one. Gerardo Parra, the go-ahead run at first. 4 straight hits for the Rockies. They've tied it up here in the top of the 9th. A Story double off the left field wall. Dahl a single to center. Desmond a line double to the left field corner. And then Parra a single to left. Parra draws a throw.
It has gotten so quiet
Great
at this
straight
ballpark.
Base stealer. No, it's gotten ridiculously quiet. They're in shock. Chris Iannetta with a 1-1 count.
Luke Jackson threw last night, held the Rockies scoreless in the inning. But this crowd in Atlanta is shocked. 2 nights ago, he threw.
Yeah, and the first guy he faced that night was Chris Iannetta. So Chris, who grounded out, saw Parra takes off, and he's going to swipe second. I mean, they didn't even look to make a play on him. So Parra, with his 8th stolen base, and you don't look at Gerardo as a situational base stealer. You don't look at him as a flyer, but he gets a nice jump. And I mean, look at the reaction behind the plate. Kurt Suzuki has to throw it back to the pitcher. Now a base hit, and the Rockies go ahead.
Throw it away.
Camargo does get Iannetta at first. What an inning for the Rockies. They've tied it up, a 2-out rally. The best 2-out rally in the 9th inning of the year. 3-3 going to the bottom of the 9th in Atlanta. Now they're tied, trying to push it to extra innings. Adam Ottavino's on the mound. Johan Camargo, Ender Inciarte, Kurt Suzuki due up for the Braves. And that slider's way outside. Looks like Ottavino got his spikes caught. If the Rockies can get it to the 10, they flip their lineup over. It'll be Charlie Blackmon leading off.
Well, Otto's your guy. 2 misses with the slider on the outside portion. What an inning. down to the last strike with Ian Desmond. It's crazy.
He misses badly on all 3 of those. It's unlike Ottavino.
Well, and with Ottavino, you do not want a base runner because Ottavino is slow to the plate.
Shakes to the fastball. And that's ball 4. So that is not what you want to do. Ottavino walks Camargo.
Well, Camargo does not have a stolen base on the season. It's been caught once. But with Inciarte excellent at bunting. He's also a high contact hitter, so if you did want to move a runner and have a potential hit and run, Inciarte's your guy.
And that's a great bunt. As you described, he's really good at getting bunts down. So now the winning run's at second, and you'll have Suzuki and Swanson. There are no left-handed bats left on Brian Snitker's bench, if you're wondering. Ryan Flaherty was used to pinch hit in the 7th inning. Right on right, huge advantage to Ottavino. But that's on paper. Nothing's played on paper. Suzuki tonight, 1 for 3. Fastball, strike 1. You know, some guys, Spilly, will use the breaking ball to open a count and kind of surprise a hitter. When Otto throws the fastball right on right, it's the equivalent of throwing a breaking ball for most pitchers.
Yeah, it really has been. It's still 96 miles an hour.
So many right-handed hitters will go up there and you just have to sit on the slider because you know you're going to get it the majority of the time. Doesn't mean you can hit it. As Billy said, then mid-90s shows up with sink. 0-1. And this ball's hit in the air to deep left field, but Dahl thinks he has a play, and he will. Tagging, moving to third, Camargo, and he's there, but not by a lot. Put a little pressure on Chris Iannetta to make sure if there's a ball in the dirt, you block it. 2 outs, runner at third.
Dahl gets behind this. Probably could have done just 1 extra half step to get more momentum through that baseball. That's a risky play from Camargo. If you get thrown out, even if you're blowing a bubble, nobody will be happy with you.
Especially blowing the bubble. Dansby Swanson against Adam Ottavino. Otto trying to get this thing to extra innings. Winning run at third.
The slider's clearly not there for Ottavino yet. Walked Camargo through 3 Alford balls. The slider to Suzuki was squared up. Just missed it. That's not good when you're missing your best pitch.
Well, this guy's been a tough out for the Rockies. He's 10 for 22 against them this year. 2-0. If Swanson somehow reaches on a walk, it would be Charlie Culberson to pinch hit, the erstwhile Rocky. Good pitch.
There it is.
That's the knee buckler.
This one, it's almost like Ottavino set his sights more towards the hitter
Back to the fastball. 2-2. Ooh, the late action on this.
Yeah, that's a good two-seam action that Ottavino's been working so hard with. And now he's throwing his best slider and his best fastball. So he has both sides of the plate opened up to him.
Slider's his pitch, but he shakes to the fastball. 2-2, 2 outs. Winning run 90 feet away.
And Ottavino overthrew the fastball.
You go with your best, you go with the slider?
Kind of have to. And you still have first base open, so.
That's a great point. Here we go, 3-2 on Swanson. Got him! And we'll go extra innings. Adam Ottavino, maybe surprised he swung based on the reaction. He strands the winning run in Camargo at third. We'll go extra frames in Atlanta. What a comeback by the Rockies. Finish. The Rockies waited until they were down to their last out, and then Story lobbed a double off the base of the left field wall. That was followed up by a line single to center by Dahl. Then Desmond down to his last strike. He lines a double to the left field corner. 2 runs come around, and then the pinch hitter Parra left on left dumped one into left field, and Desmond scores to tie up the game. The Coors Light refreshing finish. And now the Rockies want to go one better on that Coors Light refreshing finish. Go ahead here in the 10th. Jackson remains in the game. Here's Charlie. First pitch, and Charlie fires at it, which he rarely does, and he fouls it off. Infield hit in the 8th inning for Blackman, 1 for 4 after a 3-hit night last night. One and one.
Good take. That last take was excellent. Not hard on his front foot. Saw the baseball.
Rockies 4-4 in extra frames. The Braves, as you see, 4-7. And if you're a believer in baseball momentum, the Rockies have it right now. This is going to be an easy play, though, at first for Freeman. 1 out. That'll bring up LeMahieu. DJ's 0 for 4. He faced Jackson on Thursday and had a base hit against him. Strike 1 on DJ. Luke Jackson in his second year with Atlanta, with the Rangers prior to that. This ball's well hit center field. Long run for Inciarte, and it is gone! DJ LeMahieu! How do you like that?
Oh my gosh! How?
10th home run of the year for LeMahieu, 8 of them out on the road. And many of those 10 have been huge, like the one he just hit.
Wow. The last 30 minutes of this ball game with 2 outs of the Rockies, it's just, you don't expect to see this. That's a hanging curveball. DJ going big fly to center.
How do you like me now?
Well, if you thought it was quiet in the bottom of the 9th after the Rockies scored, now it's a cathedral.
Sunday Mass. The Rockies are presiding. This ball's launched to deep center field also. And again, playing chase is Inciarte. And Cargo watches Buddy throw it back in. It's a 1-out double.
Another curveball up in the zone, and Cargo squares it up. Inciarte giving great chase. He's as good as they come in center field at running perfect routes. That's a perfect route towards the baseball, just out of his reach. This Braves team is shell-shocked. I'm shell-shocked.
Nolan coming up. Who says there's not momentum in baseball?
Wow. DJ. You kidding me?
You just never know with DJ LeMahieu. There's not a guy mentally tougher than David John LeMahieu in baseball. There may be some guys as tough mentally. There's nobody tougher. What a swing of the bat there. Now the Rockies trying to add on. This is up the middle. This will do it. Cargo cuts the bag at third. He'll score easily. Nolan makes it a 2-run game. 5-3 Rockies. And the Boo Birds raining down here at SunTrust Park. RBI number 85 for Arenado. Telling you something special brewing in purple in 2018.
The Rockies have won 6 of their last 7 games, and Nolan, center cut pitch, slider. Again, the shift for the Braves has come back to bite them. This finds a hole through the infield on a pretty routine ground ball towards short. And now Jackson is overthrowing his fastball.
And the guy who started the Magic with 2 outs in the 9th inning, Story not giving in, he doubled to left. Billy, remember I said the Rockies had 5 hits going to the 9th inning, and 2 are of the infield variety. The hardest hit ball all night was an out. It was Desmond early in the game in the 2nd, lining out to deep left center field. The Rockies have 7 hits, and the Braves have produced 4 outs in the last inning and a third.
Hey, better late than never.
This is popped up foul ground, and Suzuki makes the catch. That is the 2nd out. That'll bring up David Dahl. Wade Davis throwing in the Rockies pen.
It's like when you get invited to a party and it's at the end of the night and you're not sure if you're going to show up or not, but you decide to go. It was the best night of your life. That's what the Rockies just did.
This is a wild pitch, and that's costly. Now Nolan's in scoring position. they're going to pass on Dahl and go right on Desmond. And it's one of those moments Desi gets to say, okay, you want me?
Again?
You have a short memory? It's also, by the way, a quick acknowledgement by that Atlanta dugout of the growing respect people have for David Dahl. Up the middle, and Swanson's there, and this time by half a step, he's able to get the runner. In the inning, the Rockies take a 2-run lead. DJ LeMahieu initially hitting a breaking ball over the center field fence here at SunTrust Park. That was followed up after a double by Gonzalez, a base hit by Arenado. Three in the ninth, 2 in the 10th, and now they're 3 outs from shaking hands here in Atlanta and taking the first 3 of this 4-game set. Wade Davis, when the Rockies won 5-3 on Thursday, got the last 3 outs for yet another save for Davis. It was his 33rd of the year. He'll face Charlie Culberson, pinch hitting in the 9 spot, and then Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. So 2 righties and then the switch hitter.
Extremely important for Wade Davis getting the first pitch strikes. You don't want to put anybody on base. No free passes.
Can't do it. Here's the 1-0, and he gets a break. That was high, and Charlie, with the check swing, fouled it off. 1-1 on Culberson. Got to do a bunch of interviews today in the clubhouse, and all the questions were about his 1-inning pitching last night. First time since growing up in Rome, Georgia. Here's the 1-1, and that's fouled back. 1-2. 5 runs, all of a sudden 12 hits for the Rockies. I mean, were we not having a conversation a short while ago saying, you know, that's baseball? Next night after 16 hits, 11 runs, the Rockies had no hits on just a few no runs on just a few hits. 1-2. Fastball away, 2-2.
I mean, it just goes to show how good Fultonevich was, because he was able to keep this lineup that was bubbling under the surface. The offense was ready to pour out.
2-2. This is as aggressive as we've seen Wade in a while, because he usually mixes his pitches. He's throwing 3 heaters in a row.
And I like seeing that. You're the aggressor. The Rockies right now are the aggressor.
And correct, that's 5 heaters in a row. It's all heaters. This will break the trend. And a ground ball to Nolan. 1 out. It's a big first out. It's always big to get the first guy, but especially when the guy coming up is as hot as Acuna Jr. and as hot at hitting the long ball as this 20-year-old.
Well, this stretch of offense that Acuna has over the last 11 games, it's quite remarkable. He's hitting .483.
Fastball swung on and missed. It's 0-1.
.483 with 8 home runs in the last 11 games for Acuna.
That is dirty. Wow. That's a great pitch. Unfortunately, it was called a ball. 1-1.
Late movement. Well located.
Well received. That's got to be a strike. 1-2. How about the cut on that, Billy?
Davis is starting to get his groove back.
This is the most aggressive we've seen him.
Yeah, and it's good. This is how a closer should be. You need to come after guys.
Curveball. 2-2. And another ground ball to Nolan. That took a funky hop.
Really
Nolan
did.
stayed with it. He had to move his glove almost outside his right foot, which ordinarily, obviously, you wouldn't do. Watch again.
Hey, he's even pointing to Trevor. Look, it took a hop on me. It hit a slider. Slider pitch from Wade Davis. Slider hit the grass. It's because of the wet grass tonight.
Well, when you have hands that good, that soft, not an issue. 2 outs in the 10th. The Rockies an out away. They're up 5-3. Here's Albies, 1 for 4 tonight. Get him. You don't have to deal with Freddie Freeman. Iannetta goes to the outside corner. That's a good looking pitch. Man. Both ways tonight. Joe's a terrific umpire, but he's had a small zone.
The bottom of the zone, Joe West does not typically give. He'll give off the plate as long as it's above the knees. We've seen some pitches just off the plate, but in above the knees that have gone in the Rockies' favor and in the Braves' favor. It's just the bottom of the zone. He's not giving it.
2-1 on Albies. And that is a foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now you're a strike away. One strike away from one of those victories that will not soon be forgotten. Two-two. In the air, right field and deep. Cargo's got a bead on it. Ball game over. One of the great victories of 2018. 5 runs for the Rockies, 3 in the 9th to tie it, 2 in the 10th to win it. And a stunned Braves crowd will either hang for the concert or make their way home. The Rockies have now won 7 of 8. And remember earlier, just about a week ago, we were talking about some of the tragic losses the Rockies had, that last road trip in St. Louis in particular, one in Milwaukee. And you said, when's it going to turn around where the Rockies start producing some of those victories? Well, tonight, the biggest steal a win from the jaws of defeat of the year.
After Nolan Arenado grounded out and there's 2 outs remaining on FanGraphs, there's a 99.6% chance that the Rockies would come back and win. That's so unlikely.
99.6% chance they'd lose.
That they'd lose.
Right.
Yeah, that they couldn't come back from behind.
Right. Unbelievable.